All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's actually one of the most urgent security challenges for, well, pretty much everyone right now. It's called post-quantum cryptography, and your journey to deal with it starts today.
So let me just start by asking you a question, one that every leader should really be thinking about. You spend a fortune protecting your data, right? Your IP, your customer info, all of it. But what if the very locks you're using are about to become completely useless?
Because that's the situation we're in. The core technology that underpins pretty much all of our digital security, that cryptographic lock, it's about to be shattered. So we really need to talk about why that is, and more importantly, what on earth you can do about it.
Okay, so what is this big threat? Well, it's not a new virus, and it's not some clever new hacking technique. Nope, it's a completely different kind of computer, one that works based on the truly mind-bending rules of quantum mechanics.
And we're not just talking about any quantum computer. We're talking about a very specific beast, a cryptographically relevant quantum computer, or a CRQC. You're going to hear that term a lot. This is a machine that's going to be so powerful, it can solve math problems that are just plain impossible for even our biggest supercomputers today. And the scary part? We expect them to be here by the 2030s. I mean, the difference here is just night and day. The encryption that keeps your bank account safe, that protects your emails, your company's private network, it's all built on these workhorse algorithms like RSA and ECC. And they're fantastic against the computers we have today. But you put them up against a CRQC, they're basically a screen door on a submarine. They'll be broken just like that.
So I know what you might be thinking. If these quantum computers are still years away, why the panic? Why is this a problem for me today? Well, this next part is maybe the most important thing to understand. It's because the attack has already started. The strategy has a pretty chilling name: harvest now, decrypt later. And it's as simple as it is terrifying. Right now, adversaries, think nation-states, sophisticated hackers, they are sucking up huge amounts of encrypted data. They can't read it yet, but they don't have to. They just store it all and wait. They're patiently waiting for the day that CRQC comes online and gives them the key to unlock everything. And this is the danger today. Think about your most important secrets. Your product designs, your long-term financial strategy, government intelligence, private health records. If that data needs to stay secret for, say, more than 10 years, then it is already at risk. The clock isn't ticking on when the quantum computer arrives. The clock is ticking on your data being stolen right now. So, if the threat is already here, what in the world do we do? Well, there is a solution. It's called post-quantum cryptography. But I have to be really clear about this. This is not a quick fix. It is a marathon, not a sprint. We are talking about one of the biggest, most complicated digital projects your organization will probably ever attempt. Seriously, get this. The experts are estimating that for a typical large company, this whole transition is going to take somewhere between 10 and 20 years to get done. Yeah, you heard me right. A full decade, maybe even 2. This is not a software patch you just roll out on a Tuesday. I heard this analogy and it just hits the nail on the head. Trying to do this is like trying to change the engines on an airplane while it's in the middle of a flight. You have to replace the most fundamental security parts of your entire company, all while the business keeps running 24/7. You can't just take it all offline for a bit. It has to be the slow, careful, perfectly planned process. So why does it take so long? Well, a few big reasons. First, this stuff is everywhere. It's not just on your servers, it's baked into your laptops, your phones, your smart devices, your network gear, you name it. Second, any single thing you do online can use like 5 different kinds of encryption without you even knowing it. Third, there's no magic update all button. It is a painstaking one-by-one replacement job. And finally, you're not in this alone. Your security depends on all of your vendors and all of your partners getting on board and doing this too.
But look, it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is the world's best cryptographers have been working on this problem for years. And the solution they've come up with is this new generation of algorithms called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC for short.
Now here's a super important point. These PQC algorithms are not themselves quantum. You don't need a quantum computer to use them. They're actually classical algorithms that run on the computers we all have today, but they're built on really clever math that we believe is tough for both regular computers and future quantum computers to break.
And the best part? This isn't the Wild West.
There is a clear, standardized path forward. An agency in the US called NIST has been running this global competition for years to pick the best and most secure algorithms. And they've done it. The first official standards are out now. You might hear their names, Kyber and Dilithium. This gives the entire industry a stable, trusted playbook to work from.
Okay, so a 10 to 20-year project. That sounds absolutely overwhelming, right? So how in the world do you even begin to tackle something that huge? Well, you do it by breaking it down into a structured plan into manageable phases. And this is basically what that roadmap looks like. You start with discovery, which is just figuring out what you've got. Then you move into planning and strategy. After that comes the really long part, implementation. And eventually, you transition into a state of what we call ongoing agility. So let's just quickly look at those first few steps. Phase 1 is all about discovery. There's an old saying, you can't secure what you don't know, and that is 100% the case here. Your first job is to create a complete inventory, a map of every single algorithm, key, and certificate across every single system you have. It's a massive job, I know, but it is the absolute foundation for everything else. So once you have that map, you move on to phase 2, planning. You obviously can't fix everything at once, so this is where you get smart. You analyze the risks, you figure out what your most critical systems are, your crown jewels, and you build a detailed, prioritized game plan for how you're going to tackle the migration.
And then comes the big one, the long haul, phase 3, implementation. This is where the plans meet reality. We're talking about a multi-year, grinding process of upgrading systems, testing everything like crazy, and then rolling out the new solutions in waves, starting small and then gradually expanding across the whole company.
So, after all of that, what's the real goal? You know, it's not just about becoming quantum safe. The real prize, the ultimate goal, is to achieve something called crypto agility. Think of it like this. It's about building the systems and the skills so that the next time a massive cryptographic threat comes along, your organization can pivot and adopt smoothly. It's not a one-time project. It's a permanent capability you have to build to survive.
Which brings us right back to where we started. The threat is real. The attack is happening right now. Your most valuable long-term data is being siphoned off by adversaries who are just waiting for the master key. So the final question is pretty simple. Knowing that this is a marathon that takes over a decade to run, when are you going to take your first step?